Hey there, folks. Welcome to another Run 8 train sim video. We had another route release last Thursday. It is now Sunday, the 20th of October, 2024. So just a few days ago, Thursday. There's a lot to get into. Finally getting around to getting at it. And here it is. This is where you can pick it up. I'll link it down below as usual, where you can go and find this if you don't know where to find this. This is going to be BNSF-UP Fresno to Modesto. So it's basically going to cover two subdivisions from BNSF and Union Pacific. Two lines that basically run alongside one another in the kind of upper Central Valley region of California. And this is what you're going to get. So you're going to have two dispatch screens, one for BNSF and one for UP. There is going to be some Amtrak usage. What's kind of cool about this is the Modesto and Empire Traction Co., which is a very profitable and long-standing, almost 100 years old or 100 years old, little short line that runs, just kind of east Modesto in the Empire area. And they have like over 40 miles of trackage. It's pretty insane. You're going to get the MP15 with those skins as part of this route. And it's going to cost $40, which is the typical price for stuff like this. So let's get in it and have a look. Right then, we are on the route. So BNSF and UP operations. This is just called Fresno to Modesto, I think, because it's not the complete subdivisions on offer here, but you're going to get two. So the first one being basically the BNSF Stockton sub. You're going to get 110 miles of said subdivision. It's going to be starting at Fresno to Riverbank Yard, which is in Modesto, serving about 40 industries on the way, massive grain facilities, Empire Yard, Modesto Yard, a little tiny bit of trackage for the MCVR, which is a short line. I think they've got 1 mile. Which is pretty neat. You're also going to get some Amtrak services. I think there's 4 stations on the map. Now, the Amtrak is going to run primarily on the BNSF portion of the route. Now, the Modesto and Empire Traction Company, the bit in Modesto, which is kind of the bread and butter of this route to me anyway, you're going to get pretty much, well, 100% of their operations there. Several miles at the BNSF Empire Trans Yard and UP Modesto Junction, plus over, I want to say it's like 40 or 45 miles inside the Baird Industrial Park. Just a plethora of industries and sidings. And that's also going to include your MP15, MP15, SW 1500. One of those two, right? I definitely did not just get that mixed up. But you're going to get it in the skin. They actually have 2 of those. They're 2 XSP units, Southern Pacific. And then they've also got gen sets in real life. Of course, we do not have in the game, and I'm totally fine with not having gen sets in the game. Now, as part of the UP Fresno sub, which we are currently looking at here, you're going to get 120 miles of between the UP Fresno Yard to Control Point Covell, which is near Modesto, just outside of Modesto. 50 industries along the line. Fresno Yard, of course, and the Madera Spur. There's a ton of industries on this map, so it's not really just the MET being short for Modesto and Empire. And this area, for those that may not be aware, is the Central Valley of California. The single most productive area of anything agriculture within California. It's like 22,000 square miles of California that produces things from almonds to walnuts, grapes, winter wheat, alfalfa, tomatoes, pistachios. A lot of nuts come from California. Same could be said for people. But anyway, there's a lot going on with this route, and it's taken me a little bit to come to grips with the route. It kind of stinks in the fact that you are gapped. So there's a portion missing on the Union Pacific portion, which we do not have from Bakersfield into this area, into Modesto, sadly. So you'll kind of have to set up your AI trains, wherever you want. There is a very, very nice couple of manuals that come with this route, which is kind of new. Now, in the past, there have been plenty of manuals or quick guides here and there, or reference sheets, if you will, looking at stuff on how to run operations. With this, it's like a whole new level. There's like 3 or 4 PDFs with a lot of good information on how to run trains and set up trains in this region. But yeah, the UP line is gapped, so you'll have to set up AI trains on your own. Now, there is a world safe, like pretty much everything else in Run 8, for basically everything from like Bakersfield over. Now, sadly, I personally do not have Bakersfield, so for me, this is kind of like an island subdivision in itself. Think of it like the Roseville sub. Hopefully we'll get a connection all the way to Stockton and then Roseville, and then you can run all the way to Sparks to and from. That would be very cool. Maybe we'll see that at some point. Now, BNSF, you can run in its totality for the most part if you have the Bakersfield sub. Now, that is a separate DLC. It's also $40. I don't have that. That is literally the only route or subdivision that I don't have in the game is BNSF Bakersfield, which does not have Union Pacific in it, obviously. So there's that gap, which I was talking about. But BNSF, you can run pretty much all the way through. There's a lot going on with this route. Like I said, we're going to get in the map and look around, jump around, and see what there is to see here. But, you know, it's, from what I can tell so far, it's, you know, it's probably worth the price tag. It does look like some areas are kind of bare and left unfinished. I'm not crazy about the ground texture in itself. It looks more like sand to me instead of just dry vegetation. Now, I know, you know, what this area looks like. I get it. But I feel like there could be a lot of brush placed down and things like that as far as vegetation. I know with Run 8, you know, visuals and graphics aren't the main thing. I understand that. But there are parts of this that I feel like just look completely unfinished. And you look at some other SoCal routes in Run 8, and they look fine, even with, you know, certain age. But we'll get into that and have a look. Just wanted to briefly touch on the manuals or the PDFs that you're going to get with this route, and they're pretty much everything you need to get running on this route. It's certainly helped me a ton. As you can see, 3 routes in 1 in the top right-hand corner. But it tells you all about the subdivisions, what they encompass, you know, what comes with the route, how to, you know, if you're new to Run 8 as a whole, this is also very helpful. Say this is your first ever route. This is very, very helpful. Tells you how to import the industries, set up your AI trains, tag your trains, pretty much everything. This is a very, I love manuals. You know, when it comes to simulations and simulators, manuals are a necessity. This thing certainly helps. It certainly helped me setting everything up. Tells you all about the M&ET. Tells you how to use dispatch screens, of course. For those of you that have been playing forever, a lot of this you may already know, but, you know, there's still quite a bit here that that you may not. But thankfully, this is in here. It tells you about the Amtrak services, your locals, your types of, you know, unit trains and dailies and manifests and everything that comes through here. You've got an entire map of the Met workings itself. So this is just the west side of the Met facility, or the Beard Industrial District. And then this is the east side. I mean, it's friggin' huge. So the east side's BNSF, west side is Uncle Pete. You know, tells you how to configure your AIs and locals. So they bring trains in for you to serve said facilities and whatnot. But that's just one of the guides. Then you, of course, also have the map and the track charts. So this is very helpful as well in case you didn't know a whole lot about this area, because I sure as hell didn't, not going to lie. These routes, they run side by side pretty much, because this is old competing railroad, you know, California from the 1800s. They run side by side. Basically, the UP, obviously, Southern Pacific, and BNSF was, geez, what was it? I think it was the San Joaquin Valley Railroad, essentially. But it shows you everything that you need to know about the area from. So down at the, you know, the bottom right-hand corner, that's obviously Fresno, and in the tippy top there, that's Modesto and the Empire Industrial Complex. Shows you right where you're at in the middle of the Central Valley, California. It gives you a track chart, grade chart, which is pretty cool. There, you know, there's a tiny bit of grade through here. I've not run a lot of trains thus far, looking at this, like 1 or 2 shortly, so I couldn't really notate too much, you know, on the gradients and things like that. But I love stuff like this. They take the time to make this stuff, and it's certainly helpful. So it's nice seeing stuff like this. And then last but not least, you've also got your Central California industries for the Fresno, Modesto, Stockton subs. UPRR locals and customers served by locals in this route. Gives you your milepost, you know, control points, what types of trains run, what kind of loads they use. This stuff is all very, very helpful. So again, super thrilled to see this. It makes it so much easier to understand this area. If you are, you know, are like me, so to speak, that may not know a damn thing about operations in this area. Now I feel like I do, mainly in part thanks to these manuals and guides. All right, we've got run 8 running now. This is your dispatch screen with the 2 subs split up. So tippy top, the easternmost route, BNSF Modesto to Fresno. That is the Stockton sub, or a portion of the Stockton sub anyway. The one on the bottom, that is the western route, UPRR Modesto to Fresno. That is your Fresno sub. That's what UP calls the bit of trackage that runs. This, of course, is just a small fraction of that. It's not the entire subdivision. You hit the tab key, and it brings up both maps. So you just hit, you know, obviously your dispatch screen, and then hit tab, and it'll bring both up. We will start with the eastern, which is the BNSF to Modesto, or I'm sorry, Modesto to Fresno. The farthest east is down here on the bottom right, where you can see the square lighting up. That's basically Fresno. Now, sadly, within this DLC, you do not get Calwa Yard, and I'm a bit miffed about that. Now, if you have the Bakersfield sub, you do get Calwa Yard, so it's not included with this. I know it sucks, but a lot of you probably already have it, so it's no big deal. I'm just going to sit over here in the corner and cry about it like a little biatch. Eventually, I will get Bakersfield sub. I do need to get it. It looks nice, and I think it's one of the newer ones, too. I'm just surprised I still don't have it. There's a lot of stuff I still don't have in Run 8. You know, it's a library that's only getting bigger. So bottom right, Fresno, top left, Riverbank, which is just outside of Modesto. Same thing for UPRR. So let's go ahead and start. I'll go ahead and click on right about where Calwa would be, which is the BNSF yard. We'll get up into air, and we're just going to zoom around and take a look at the map. If we're going to run a train, this would be a 5-hour video. So I'm going to try and keep it short and sweet. We should see some movements in the area. That way goes to Calwa. You can tell there's no trackage there. If I had the BNSF, if I had the Bakersfield sub, there would be trackage here. So, you know, you've got stuff laid out. You just have no tracks. Essentially, this just basically runs through town. Over that way is the east. The sun is rising. It is early in the morning over here. And then way over yonder is the Union Pacific. Now, of course, you're not really going to be coming through here. Of course, if you're coming from the Calwa Yard, you know, from the Bakersfield route. Urban-wise, I've been taking a look around. Urban-wise, I feel like there's definitely been a step up in the way a lot of this stuff looks, especially Southern California, because a lot of that stuff is pretty old. I feel like the urban stuff in Southern California in days of yore, you know, was lacking a bit, whereas the you know, the nature, the natural stuff, the geography and stuff like that always looked okay to me in Southern California. I felt like the color palette looked good, the distant mountains looked good, the, you know, the sky and all that, and the weather, you know, the brush, Joshua trees, cactus, whatever the hell, like all that looked generally pretty good. So BNSF, you can't really start at Calwa, which would kind of stink. You can tell it's a bit bare through here. You've got several crossings. The first control point is Figarton. We'll go ahead and back out of that. And then we should see the river right up here. Hopefully we can find something going on. I know there's a few trains. Yes, BNSF 783. I think that's the lead unit. It says Figarton right here. Is it Fig Garden or is it Figarden? I mean, I know they grow figs in this area, so maybe they're just trying to have fun with a name. I do not know. But this is Fresno, and there's a tree in the middle of the lake. Here's one of the trains. This bad boy, I don't know where it's going. It might be going to the huge, there's a huge ethanol production facility on the BNSF portion. You can actually run through the BNSF line and the UP line through this big section up here. But overall, I feel like it looks okay. I'm just not super crazy about like the track side. We need some trash, we need some clutter, we need some brush, some things like that. It just looks really, really bare. When you kind of get out into the fields and the crops a bit further down the line, it doesn't look too terrible. You know, your stuff line side as far as like infrastructure and signaling and things like that looks okay. Looks pretty much on par. And then here's the big river. This, of course, being the San Joaquin River. And this is the first big trestle that you'll see. There are many because there are many river crossings. This area looks all right as well. You also got to keep in mind most of the time you're going to be looking at stuff right about like this, you know, with a tiny kind of porthole view, especially if you're in some kind of standard cab, maybe not a wide cab. But anyway, let's continue hopping down the line. You will go through a ton of farms, fields, ranches, agriculture like this, and I think this looks fantastic, especially for Run 8. I always hate to fall on that phrase, especially for Run 8, but you know, it is what it is. A lot of you understand that, I'm very well sure, but there's a lot of places that look fantastic along this route, going through these groves and whatnot, and this is just one of them, and it does look nice. I should have done this earlier, but I did want to go over the BNSF Stockton sub, which is what we're currently on. So the origins come from the line built in the late 1800s by the San Fran and San Joaquin Valley Railroad. Naturally changed hands from mergers, and owners operated from ATSF, and then obviously ended up to BNSF today. Amtrak does run down this corridor. They are the San Joaquin trains, basically regional trains. And they will run basically the entirety of the route. You can see them on the map. Let's go ahead and pop that back open again. So you've got one in right outside of Madera. You got one in Merced. You got one in, well, it says Empire. That's basically Modesto. And I think there's one. Where's the other one at? There's another one. Am I blind? Merced, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so there's like two right outside of Modesto because Modesto is a pretty big area. So you do have some Amtrak options. But anyway, this is the first kind of major industry that you're going to come along heading north or west, however you want to look at it, on the BNSF Stockton portion of the sub. I do love seeing scenes like this. It looks like they're building this highway or this overpass here. You can see work crews here getting ready to complete this thing. But this is a huge ethanol plant. This is Pacific Ethanol, and this is one of the industries you can certainly serve. It's got a huge loop all the way around the facility. You can just about see the UP sub way over there. But this place is massive, can run massive ethanol trains through here. This is one of the bigger, kind of cooler industries that you can run along the line. But let's keep trucking northbound. All right, so this is one of the areas that I was talking about. I feel like just looks really bad, if I'm honest. Not trying to be mean, just, you know, crystal clear, honest. This looks unfinished. This looks like someone that started building a route and they were just like, and just kind of left it the way it was. I'm not crazy about like the hay colored ground texture for starters. And there just needs to be a lot more brush and shrub. Now, I get it. Along portions of this line, it might be in here. I think it's a bit further up north. There's a huge, like, sand pit or old quarry that kind of looks like this. I don't think it's this far down, though. You can see some things like ties and, like, some kind of dirt road sitting there, but it just looks extremely bare. And there's just some areas, you know, even if you're in a seat, it just does not look awesome. You get a little bit farther north and you get to Madera, which is a pretty good sized town. You've got a siding here and then a spur. I do not think some of these are industries. Now, I did import the industry file, but there are some places like this that do not appear. Now, if you look on, you know, you do your research about the area, say you hop on Google Maps, there are certain areas that do appear to be a bygone era of being rail served. This might be one of them. Alas, I don't know why cars are sat here. I did open the world save for this, by the way, but this area does look pretty well built up to a certain degree. The Amtrak station should be here. The sidings are interesting as well, the way they kind of have these bows like this, and I believe that's for the engine, so the engine can pull up as close as possible because they're not very long in terms of sidings. And I believe that's just the angle of the engine, you know, the way it could sit without having to be super close to maybe a passing train. And it does look like that in real life, but for some reason in Run 8, it just looks a little bit more pronounced than maybe it does if you were looking at images online. We got one of many canals and creeks This might actually be the Fresno River here. I don't know. I think the Fresno River is a bit further up, but there should be an Amtrak station right up here. We'll zoom on up here. Still a lot of industry and agriculture all over the place. We'll keep zooming. There we go. So we got an Amtrak train sitting right here at the station. And you may be thinking, well, this doesn't really look like a custom Amtrak station. And, well, it's not. And I'm fine with that because this is pretty much what Madera looks like. It looks like a bus stop. A bus stop the trains stop at. It's basically only got this. You know, keep you out of the rain. I don't even think that it's got like a building over here in real life. But this is basically the first Amtrak station on the route. I don't think there's one in Fresno, at least not in this portion. The Amtrak California logo there. And obviously Amtrak trains do be running, as you can see. Here's another just example of the extremely bare looking area north of Madera. It needs some stuff, salt and pepper, shakered, you know, just to make it seem a little less unfinished. It looks odd to me. Like it just does seem a bit incomplete. I'll try and be the, you know, have that the last time I harp on that. You know, I don't know if it is not finished. I don't know, but some parts look that way to me. Up north, a bit farther, this is Control Point Planada, or the town. And there's a pretty good sized industry here as well. This is Merced Milling and Feed. So the thing with, you know, grain in this area is they bring a lot of it in for stock and or seeds for planting and things like that, but also, you know, feeding livestock and whatnot. This is one of those type places here. You know, probably for a local to hop in and out. But you've got a couple of good size industries. I'd say this is like medium, and then you've got several very, very large ones as well. You know, still a lot of agriculture, farm and stuff around here. You know, luckily parts like this do look a lot better as far as just being extremely bare. So yeah, let's keep on going north. Here's another one that's I'd say like small medium. It's basically a farm equipment supplier. You know, where they provide stuff to the area. Can fit several box cars in here, and I think this is one of those places to the very day today that they do receive rail service. Not even a mile more north, you've got a metal recycler or scrap recycler, and a couple other places back here. This is this MCL, sorry, is a feud distribution service. So I should probably see some box cars and some reefers and stuff like that. It's a pretty good size industry. That's, you know, right off the main here. It's got a little passing siding, luckily, to set trains up and kick cars around and things like that. But it, you know, around Merced is kind of like the middle point on the route, and you'll have a lot of industries there because it's a good sized town and area. And, you know, outlier towns of Merced, and that's why you'll have a lot of industries. And then, of course, the further you get towards Modesto. Now, in Merced proper, you've got a maintenance of way facility. I do like the way this looks. So, like some areas in the past that, you know, MOW operations within Run 8 look a little bare. I mean, hell, some industries look a little bare. A lot of the Southern California older stuff, where there'll just be a track and there's like nothing there. Luckily, that has changed. While I'm, you know, crying over in the corner about some of the scenery and the way the geography looks, it's super bare. They did definitely step it up with some areas like, you know, spurs and sidings and industries and things like that. I love all the stuff set all over, all little prop pieces, assets and stuff like that. Can definitely do some MOW operations. And here we have got your Merced train station, which is legit. It is it's a nice looking asset. Looks very nice. Do of course have your Amtrak trains stopping here, sorry. And the Merced sign with the Santa Fe cross on there as well. Cool little area. I like the Merced area. It's not a huge town, not a small town. You got a couple things going on in here though. Just north of Merced and almost to the Merced River, you've got another pretty damn good size industrial complex here. One of them is a lumber something or other. I think that's actually farther up by the airport. Sorry. There's different, there's all kinds of different stuff here. I think I didn't look at this one initially because I was going to look at it on the UP side, but there's a lot of stuff going on here. Maybe some food service, some feed, things like that. I think it does connect over to the Union Pacific side. This would be the Merced River here, so it's like right on the edge. It's a nice looking industrial park, though. It looks thoroughly fleshed out like this. I don't know what this is, so I'm going to hit Control I. Bring up the industry. What is it? THI. THI. See if we can find it. Used to be able to type it in, but now I can't type it in for some reason. I don't know if I'm not looking at the right thing. THI. Let's see. It's not that. Not that. Neutral? No. No. There it is. Tank Holding Inc. So something to do with tanks, obviously. That's got to be it. But a huge facility. And there's your UP line over there. So it's pretty close. This place here, MSM, I don't remember what this does either. Thank God for the industry thingamabob. I'll pop that open again. MSM, mainstream media. It could be used for, which sucks, obviously. MSM, where's it at? Here we go. MSM. Oh, no, see something says BNF side. No, that can't be it. Can't be it. Let's see. Modesto Milling? No, but we got something in Modesto. No, that's not it. We're in Merced. MSM. I mean, the place is huge. What could it be? I have to know. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I have to know. Mars Peck here? No. Martin Marietta? No, that's Tehachapi. That's not it. McLean? That's not it. That is not it. Dude, what? Merced Milling? No, that's not it. Yeah, I don't know what this is. This place is huge, though. Let's see. There was an area where you could like type something in. I can't remember. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry. Don't want to spend too much time on this. It's a huge plant, obviously. Yeah, now we got to find our way back to the BNSF line. All right, we've already wasted too much time. We're going to head over the Merced River. You go right up here on the right is the Aeropuerto. It's up here somewhere. Because this up here is where that little short line railroad is. It's got 1 mile of trackage, and it's right here. So it's the Patriot Rail, basically. They've got this over here, a little industry, some kind of lumber supply, and then there's something back here to do with aircraft manufacturing. Probably bring in like jet fuel or something like that, possibly, even though those are propane tanks. But it goes back here as well, and this is an airfield. I mean, you can kind of tell the way the buildings are laid out. There's obviously no, you know, runways or anything like that, or taxiways, or you know, any other kind of plane air stuff. You can see the airplane type water tower up there with the checkers. And there is a ball field over here, in real life as well. So let's get back on the main. Keep going. I was incorrect earlier. This is the Merced River crossing right here north of Merced, like a mile, I think, just outside of that industrial area we were looking at. It's a big one, too. We've got Walter White and Jesse down here cooking, hanging out on the riverbank. Nice train bridge, nice looking area. Further north, the closer you get up to Modesto, you've got this Chungus facility right here with this Chungus train currently sat at. It's just another feed facility. We're not too far from, I think we're at Control Point Denair. But this is basically an associated feed facility, and it's huge. Trains do be serving it big, heavy ass unit grain trains. Very large facility to run through here. And this bad boy is is either unloading or has unloaded and getting ready to go. We actually just passed a train headed southbound, another grainer, and then there's Amtrak that should be catching up behind us. Not too far up ahead, though. There should be another Amtrak station. So we're currently looking south, but we're a bit farther north than Denair. This is the Tuolumne River, which we're just outside of Empire and Modesto now. And it's just a nice, another nice scenic area. A twin railed train bridge. You got the highway over here, some more road crews. You really just got to stop and take the time to look for stuff like this, because they do place a lot of interesting things like that around. And, you know, I know route building is intense. So I get it. It's nice when everything kind of works out, but you can see all the industries floating in the distance. Let's get down there. Here's another custom map set. This is the Modesto Amtrak station, which does look like the real deal. So props there for getting that right. I'm sure there's a little couple of extra things if you always take the time to hover around and look and listen. We've got a nice Modesto sign. There should be an Amtrak train coming down the road. So further up, this route basically ends at Riverbank, which we'll just kind of zoom up to. And then we're going to go back down to the BNSF yard that touches on the side of the Modesto and Empire traction. This is the other BNSF yard right here, Riverbank. I think they just call it Riverbank Yard. You've got a lot of locals that come in and out of here. At least two, I think. It's going to be LCal 0315. That might be the only one. There might be another one as well. But it's all explained in the PDF and manual. And it's a pretty good size yard. And there's a ton of industries back here as well. I know there's a place that does, what is it? Some kind of like powder coating or something like that. Way back here. I mean, this facility is massive. Ton of stuff you can do there. And see, like this, I like what they did with this. This kind of field, this open area, this looks complete to me. I wish, you know, parts of the really bare route looked like this. I feel like this would certainly help a lot. But you've got plenty of industries right off of the Riverbank yard. You know, something here as well, something for lumber or pallets or something or other. Got a couple of box cars spotted there. So you've got plenty of industries that BNSF would serve there. Got old pipe going across the bridge there, and then it ends up here. So that would obviously continue on up through Stockton, Sacramento, etc., etc. That's the end of the line up here. So now we're going to go back to where the line touches the Modesto Empire Traction Company. Like I said, bread and butter. I can't wait to get into this area because, you know, stuff like industries and locals and spotting, hooking up cars. And I feel like that's where it's at with Run 8. Sure, people like to run road trains, unit trains. That's fine. You do you. But there is a lot to be said and done about the Beard, however the hell they say it, industrial district that the M&ET owns and operates. They've got numerous industries in here. Like I said, over 40 miles of trackage, and it's as far as the eye can see straight ahead of you. This is their northernmost line that runs over to the UP line over that way, and then that's looking south. And then this is the BNSF transfer yard. So they obviously, if they've got all these tracks, they obviously do a bit of transferring. And there's a lot to be said. We've obviously got a train set up here ready to go in the world map. I'm not going to go over every industry. Luckily, you can click the old Control I and take a peek at that. But we're going to get all up in it. I'm going to save that for the end. Next, we're going to take a look at the UP portion of things, the Fresno sub on the western side of the map, and we'll skirt up that, and then we'll come back and crack this thing wide open. All right, I've got the old DS screen open. We're going to go down here at the bottom right. You've got the Cowell crossing, so there's actually a diamond down there. But there's a yard down here as well. So let's go ahead and click on that bad boy. And we are currently in Fresno. I feel like this, so like the BNSF portion kind of skirts on the north end of town, kind of like through the burbs. I feel like the UP portion kind of goes through more of the towns. You know, being that it was old SP line, more predominant line. I mean, SP owned California for the most part back in the day. So I think it's got a bit more origin, some more town kind of built up around it, if you kind of get what I'm saying. Whereas the BNSF side of this seems like it's just a bit more remote and suburban through some of the towns. You can see where obviously the line does not continue. We'll scooch down here anyway because I haven't taken a look at this. This is obviously Fresno. This right here is a baseball stadium. And that's pretty cool because they did a pretty damn good job using old assets, what they had, to make it look like a baseball park, and that it is. So that's pretty damn neat. So down here it would pass Calwa. I'm guessing that's Calwa right there. I need to get the Bakersfield sub so I can just have this and be done with it. I think this is where Calwa would be right here. That would lead me to believe. And that's the crossover right there. So that is a diamond. Right there going across and up and down. Anywho, just to kind of, if you didn't have your bearings like I did not at first, and I love this huge like chasm right here. Jesus. California earthquakes. All right, where'd the line go? Oh God, I'm lost now. Am I going the right way? Did I just go the wrong way? I think I just went the wrong way. All right, that is east. Let's try that again. Dispatch screen. Click. There we go. Okay, so that is the wrong way. We want to go this way. And to go over a little tidbit of UP operations or how it began, its origins, the Fresno sub, track laid obviously by the Southern Pacific, the old SP, in the late 1800s, eventually becoming UP trackage via the merger naturally. There's no run-through connection, sadly, from Saco to Gobel. It doesn't exist in Run 8. It's just how it is. Hopefully we will see that at some point. I don't know why. I don't know if they're going to plan on selling it as like one of those smaller ones. It's like a $20 DLC. Hopefully it's just added at some point to fully flesh everything out. But that is the tiny portion of the UP, Fresno sub that's right here. But we are on the west side of things. So the BNSF sub we were taking a look at is way over yonder. Like I said, this goes more through the towns. This is the Fresno yard. They do have some locals that run out of here. I think they start with LRF. You've got an engine facility, maintenance facility. I think you've got a car repair shop down there as well. I do like this yard. Again, I didn't place any of this down. This is just a world save. You've got tanks and antenna and stuff sitting around, fuel trucks. One thing you will notice, though, is some floating assets. So right here, I don't know what's going on with this. So we have like some floating assets right here. I'm assuming this is like a dispatch or control tower. And for whatever reason, it's not appearing, which sucks. Hopefully that will be fixed. With Run 8, I thought finished products were generally released and it wasn't like a beta type of thing. So hopefully we do see that. I do like the UP logo on the engine shed there. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on in the Fresno yard. It's a pretty good sized yard. I think we got the the rail car repair facility sitting there. And then it will continue on down. But there's some cool little signs. So you got your crew change point right here, which is obvious. Trains do stop here in the game, which is kind of cool for your crew change. But there's a couple signs down here that that's a yard lead sign. Where's it at? Come on. There we go. You got a couple little hidden signs. Caution, foamers ahead. I think that's reused, but it's funny seeing it again. So yeah, and you've got a barricade here, and then the road for the crew vans and whatnot to come through. There's one of your crew vans there. So this is northward out of Fresno, and we'll just keep on hopping along and look at what all this has got to offer. The first one just out of the yard is the McFarland Cleater McFarland Cascade telephone poles or power poles. I wish this was fleshed out a bit more because in real life there's a ton of stuff in this yard and they probably do get some ins and outs fairly often. So that's kind of your first, I'd say like medium size industry just in town. You don't even have to go far from the yard. Here we are looking westbound in the San Joaquin River, which is just on the north side of town. You might be thinking, where's the high-speed viaduct? Well, it weren't built yet, and that's all pretty damn new, obviously, all things considered. So it's not on the route. It's not in the map, and I ain't mad about it. You know, whatever. I don't know when it's supposed to be set. I think it's pretty modern, but maybe like a few years shy of today's date. But just another nice scenic area as well. I said it was only going to be the last time I was going to harp on the scenery thing, but one last time. So there's certain areas on both subs, both BNSF and UP, that look different. Some look better on one side, some look better on the other. I feel like they did take care and time to place a couple more kind of brushy, grassy, weedy assets on this portion. Still, the river is not far behind us, just around that bend there. But of course, you got a ton of farms as well. But this is like the bare minimum of what I would personally like to see as far as like the land, untilled or undisturbed or whatever, just natural. But this through here does look okay. I think this is totally passable. There he is. If you see this man, do not attempt to approach. He may be armed and dangerous. Call 0677-546-72-881-597-702. A little bit farther north out of Fresno. I can't remember the name of this town. This must be Irigosa or Notarb. Well, it can't be Notarb because there's a train coming, so it must be Irigosa. Maybe even Control Point Biola, however you say it. But it's stuff like this that I love to see. So this is a bygone era of a rail-served industry, and you can see the old ties laying in the ground. Rail probably stripped or covered up, lots of weed and grass. This area looks nice. It looks totally different than the BNSF line. And in a lot of respects, the same can be said about some parts of the UP line. But it's two lines, so it's kind of understandable. This had to be a lot of work, and I get the whole gap missing on the UP side of it. That is totally understandable. But then you come through areas like this where it's like, okay, this is some modern stuff, what I'd like to see in Run 8, and this looks very nice. We'll just appreciate this Uper headed southbound, and then we're going to hop around, turn behind us, and there's a lead into a massive industrial park on the UP side. And he's moving. Dry riverbed or creek bed. Again, looks good. It's not super duper bare. So you cut off to the right here, and it just goes and goes and goes. It's almost on the level of Modesto Empire. There are some absolutely chonker facilities back here. Just want to quickly go over them because we still have a ton of stuff that we need to go look at. We just show you all the facilities that are back here. There are cuts already laid back here in your world save, so you can just hop in and go. I mean, dude, it just keeps going and going. Look at this. Absolutely huge. This facility here looks very badass. Do like the way this looks. And I think that's where it pretty much ends. All right, so let's go back to the main line. Just wanted to show off that quick industrial park. The name eludes me at the moment, but I know it's notated in the PDF or the manual. But this urban area as well, like I was saying, a lot of the UP side of stuff, it's a bit more urban than the BNSF side of things. But this whole town and these neighborhoods, everything back here looks really, really good. I mean, just look at that view right there with the mountains in the distance off to the east. That looks nice. Currently looking south, and I am standing by and having resolved that the UP side of things does look a lot better scenery-wise. You can see a feed mill here, and then there's one just to the south. Both are rail car receivers and shippers. Looking south now as we are heading north. This is kind of like the outskirts of Merced. I believe it's Control Point Lingard or Fergus. So earlier, the place that I could not find and know what the hell it is, and I still cannot, by the way, is right here. So this is the Union Pacific side or entry point to this little industrial complex, that MSM again. So this is how you get in and out of there on the UP side. And then the other side is where we were on the BNSF side on the other side yonder. This must be the Merced River, as we were just outside of Merced. That's going to drive me nuts. I can't find the name of that place. But there's a ton of industries up in there as well that I guess you can serve both, you know, BNSF and UP wise. Yes, that's Control Point Fergus right here. And man, it does, like, the more I look around on the UP side of things, I feel like the UP side does look better than the BNSF side. Continuing north up to, I think the next control point is Arena, and then on to Turlock. We've got a, well, a livestock pen over here, and just a guy hanging out in his little gazebo. And oh my God, it's an alligator! Holy crap. I've never seen this before in Run 8, but that thing is scary looking. That is legit. It's definitely an alligator by the shape of it and the shape of the head, but that looks epic. That's a good looking, you know, and living in Florida, I know what some alligators look like, and it does look like an alligator. These guys, I'd be climbing on the roof of this bastard instead of standing in there. But it's, you know, little fun things like that are always neat to find, little Easter eggs or jokes or whatever with a lot of these routes in the route building. So that is neat. Continuing north, of course, we're almost to Modesto now. This is Foster Farms Livingston, which is another huge industry to serve. It's got its own loop all the way around in there. We got some cars sitting there presently as well, with some grainers. And it's a chunker. Just another really big facility that's served through here. But just looking around, man, you really got to stop, and at least I got to stop anyway and pay attention, because the UP side does look better. I mean, far and above, like skimming over everything that I've seen on the BNSF side, and then come down here to the UP side. This looks way better, whether you're, you know, sitting in the seat, like down about yay, or up in the air. Like, this is just, I don't know. I feel like it's night and day better than the way the BNSF sub looks. But let's keep on scooching. Another huge grain facility. We are almost up to Modesto now. We're basically in the outskirts, but just another massive industry along this line to serve. Another very scenic spot headed north into Modesto's Tuolumne River with the highway bridge, which looks nice. That's a nice looking asset there. And then, of course, the train bridge. We'll head right on up. And this is where, so the UP side of things doesn't really have an interchange per se. It's more of just a junction with the Modesto Traction Co., which goes down and in that way, which we will go over here shortly. But this is pretty much the end of the line for the UP side of things. We'll go on up through town. I think the cool sign is up here somewhere. Again, like the urban areas and these industrial districts, I feel like they've been stepped up on, you know, non-high rail side of things with, you know, the West Coast SoCal stuff, or now Central Cal. Here's the sign. That's also a new custom asset. Modesto Water Wealth Contentment Health. That's cool. And yo quiero Taco Bell. Very nice. Old train station, now a bus station, obviously. Parking garage. Nice little strip mall there along the side. This is a nice urban area. What is this control point called? Can you even see it? No, it's Modesto. How fitting, being that we're in Modesto. Another huge plant right here. There is also another industrial lead that goes off around the corner back in there, which just for time's sake we'll take a look at, but just more stuff that you can mess with. So if you're looking, you know, just a fulfilling A to B run, this may not be it, you know, for you folks that like that kind of stuff. You know, it still is quite scenic, especially sunset, sunrise, things like that. Not super challenging. You can haul ass down it when appropriate. But if you like working locals and doing some switching and stuff like that, this is definitely your doggy. This should definitely be in your bag if you're into stuff like that. We'll just go ahead and flesh out the rest of the route. I feel like it does look better. I can't get over how much better it looks than the BNSF side of things. There's another industry there. Another crossing. And then it goes into obscurity and nothingness. But who knows? Maybe one day that will continue on to Stockton and then Sacktown, and then we can complete the Roseville sub, get the rest of Sacramento, which Roseville is basically Sacramento. I'm sure Sacramentans or Rosevillians would not like to hear that, so on and so forth. Anyway, we're going to scooch back down on here to the MET, and then we're going to take a look at the MET again, which I feel like is the meat out of the meat and potatoes. We're now deep within the Modesto and Empire Traction Company Baird Industrial District, kind of right in the middle. And this is where their shop is, their engine shop anyway. Well, they have yards all over, essentially. But the M&ET, for short, 100-year-old company, family-owned company, short line, serving the Baird Industrial District, situated between, obviously, the UP and the BNSF lines, which is very good for them. Their two switchers, which there are a lot more than two here, obviously, are ex-Southern Pacific units. And they have some gen sets. They used to have some cool old, I think, 70-tonners or 100-tonners. I think they were 70s. But they have a very cool livery I like a lot. And then there's, of course, a couple of random trains or locomotives sat here anyway. But it's a nice-looking area as well. And I think, really, the M&ET is kind of the bread and butter of this whole add-on, whereas the two additional lines are kind of just extra fun. So we're going to start west to east. So we're back on the UP line. Then we're going to head east over to the BNSF side of things. This is their junction. They essentially have one line to set trains up in and out of here. So we'll go ahead and head off. This is the UP line right here. And this begins running right down the street into the facility. And the first one you'll notice here with the little doodle bug rail rover, those are still cool as hell, really, very much. I don't use those enough. I kind of forget about them sometimes, obviously. This is Gallo. I think it was JW Gallo or GW Gallo or something like that. Spirit Company, old Spirit Company, or alcohol. I think very much local to this area, and they pretty much own the entirety of the extreme western side of this facility. And it's going to be kind of hard to go over without, you know, maybe looking at a map for quick reference and things like that. But this is the line that goes out onto the UP line in their junction here. Plenty of cars and stuff to do there. Hop over the river. Keep on scooching through here. Down here is more Gallo spirit alcohol. It's primarily wine. That's like their thing is Gallo wine. It's Gallo or Gallo, Gallo. Another huge facility. We'll just go down in here. This is one of the better looking facilities in my opinion. I like the lines running through the asphalt or the concrete. Ton of stuff to do back here. You could be back in here all damn day. Anytime you see GWG, that's Gallo, the you know, the winemaker, alcohol. Got a couple of security booths in and out of here. Don't want everybody stealing all the alcohol. We'll go right back up to the line. Did I pass it? Here it is right here. And there's a small yard up here. So this is kind of like the central portion of the industrial district. This is a pretty good sized yard to switch and move cars around. We'll head down here first. We've got Stanislaus Feud Distributions. That may be, it's one of these right here. I can't recall. Sometimes reality doesn't always match up with what's in the game, although they do get it pretty close as far as the abbreviations. But there is just an absolute butt ton of stuff down here. We'll go down to the very kind of bottom track or line. Over here, there's a lumber company. It's pretty good size. Now, this behind you, you may be wondering what the hell that is. That is the airport, Modesto Airport there, city and county airport. This whole kind of wide open area there. Airplanes for you airplane peeps. But yeah, that's Oakland Pallet Company right there. So OPC, not lumber. I mean, it's kind of lumber, but you get the gist. Several other, so there's, I'll kind of get up in the air. There's several lines. So there's like an east-west main line, right, that runs through the Baird Industrial District. Then there's kind of like a diagonal northwest and southeast line that runs along over to the BNSF side. And this is right in the middle. There's another friggin' huge yard for these industries here. Let's scooch over this way. The Met shops and another massive yard are right there. Well, here's the Met shops, actually. I mean, this place is just huge. You could literally make like this one video looking at all this stuff. Del Monte Foods, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen that name before. Del Monte, another huge facility. I believe this is their stuff right here. DFE, I think, possibly. Or maybe that right there. I think they're kind of like maybe the second largest back in here, of course, next to Gallo. Just another absolutely chungus facility. There's a bunch more back here. Of course, you can all look up hitting the Control I. This goes over to the BNSF side of things. There's the BNSF yard. They've got an actual transfer yard. This over here is a transload facility. You can see wood chip hoppers doing whatever they do. This over here is called Copper and Gold LLC. They've got a massive balloon loop that runs through. A lot of trucks getting weighed, coming in, dropping off, or picking up. Another pallet facility, and the conspiracy theorist in me wonders why this stuff is set up in such a way. Are these piles of lumber supposed to spell something? I do not know. You could go to it from that side. I can't figure it out. The first thing looks like it says maybe down, but there's no N, so it's not an N. So I don't know. Maybe you guys can figure it out. Like that one, I don't know what that's supposed to be. It just looks a little too particular. You know what I mean? Like, anywho, we'll drop that. This is the Valley Transload right here. So they bring trucks in and drop stuff off. You can see the loaders doing their thing. Piles of stuff everywhere. This is that top line I was talking about that basically runs the entirety of the so just to do like a quick east to west. So this is the BNSF line out here, all Baird Industrial District, all MET, all Baird, and then it goes all the way over. That's kind of downtown Modesto over there, and then of course way back in there too. So it's almost like a triangle shape set up like half of a square, if you get me. But the BNSF transfer yard over here, you can do a ton of work back in here, guys. That's just a tiny little taste of it. But overall, you know, I'm not terribly crazy about a lot of the SoCal stuff. This kind of changed my mind a little bit picking this up, and it's definitely making me want to get Bakersfield, because it's, you know, it's totally different vibes than like San Bernardino line and Cajon and Mojave and all that. Obviously, that's, you know, very different. But, you know, this kind of opened up the interest into getting the Bakersfield line. I will have to get that, obviously, at some point to complete this area. But you can very much run this self-sustained. You just got to set up your trains, your locals, your units that run through and drop off cars for industries and whatnot. Overall, it looks pretty good. I feel like the BNSF side of things seem a little unfinished compared to like a majority of the UP line, just zooming all around. Several trains run through here during the week. I think slow days, like a lot of places, are on the weekend. You know, I think you got like 6 Amtrak trains daily on the BNSF side. You've got probably between 8 to 12 that run through UP and BNSF, I think, during the weekdays. So there's a lot of stuff that you can run through here. And then obviously the MET. There's that one little short line way down there in Merced. A lot of stuff you could do. I think they really stepped up with the way industries look and how industries are more fleshed out within Run 8 versus just having a friggin' spur somewhere in the middle of the desert that's like, hey, this is an industry and there's nothing there, if you get what I mean. So they've kind of upped their game with that. You know, there was a few missing things as far as that control tower. back in Fresno. It's kind of weird. You know, just the way the BNSF side of things look a bit bare. But I think that is going to do it, guys. UP and BNSF, Fresno to Modesto for Run 8. Again, I'll link down below where you can go and find it and take a peek for yourself if you'd so like. Thanks for watching. Hopefully catch you next time. Take care out there. Bye-bye.